Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Swallowed Star 2, Land of Origin. Volume 12, Lord Luo Feng. Chapter 437, Occupying the Southern River Territory. 12th of Volume 12. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Infinite World. A massive serpent coalesced between the clouds, the infinite serpent Xuanhuan ancestor. He sensed the practitioner territory from afar. The 8 lords are acting together. The infinite serpent Xuanhuan ancestor sensed danger. Among the 8 lords, Yuan, Lord Xingmeng, Lord Momen, and Luo Feng could conceal all traces of their life qi. However, Lord Wulan, Lord Jin, Lord Mingwang, and Lord Negu could not. In the infinite Xuanhuan space, over 90% of the Xuanhuan ancestors couldn't conceal their life qi. Any collective action by such a group would inevitably attract the attention of other powerful beings. For this operation aimed at intimidating the entire infinite Xuanhuan space, Luo Feng, Yuan, and the others deliberately refrained from concealing their life qi. The 8 lords are acting together. What are they planning? At that moment, all factions grew wary. The weakest among the 8 lords ranked among the top 20 in combat power, while the strongest stood alone at the pinnacle. Their combined strength could overwhelm even the 12 immortal beings of the Icepeak faction, along with their 26 Xuanhuan ancestors, acting together. The 8 lords made no attempt to conceal their movements, boldly advancing toward their target territory in full view of all. Under Lord Xingmeng's leadership, they flew for approximately a day. We've arrived. Luo Feng and his companions reached the boundary of the territory. The Southern River Territory and its 1,600 world clusters now belong to the practitioner faction, Yuan declared telepathically, his message reaching all Xuanhuan ancestors within the territory. Evacuate immediately. If you refuse, we will be forced to take action. The infinite Xuanhuan space was mostly barren. Even when resources existed, they were so sparse that the effort to exploit them wasn't worth it. The Southern River Territory, shaped like a heart, contained a dense cluster of approximately 1,600 world clusters. In terms of world cluster density, it was second only to the practitioners' original territory. Beyond the Southern River Territory lay vast stretches of desolate wilderness. The prosperous Southern River Territory was home to 29 Xuanhuan ancestors leading countless members of the innate Xuanhuan lifeform faction. They had long subsisted on the territory's resources, including the abundant origin worlds within the 1,600 world clusters. However, recent interceptions by Luo Feng temporarily deterred them from consuming these origin worlds. What? The entire Southern River Territory. The practitioner faction wants it all. They're ordering us to evacuate immediately. The Xuanhuan ancestors scattered throughout the territory were stunned, whether in their true forms or dispersed. Panic began to rise among them. Anyone who doesn't leave within a day will be executed without mercy. Anyone still within the Southern River Territory after 20 days will also be executed without mercy. Yuan's cold voice echoed in the ears of the 29 Xuanhuan ancestors and over 230,000 world-level Xuanhuan lifeforms. The 8 lords, threat plunged the Xuanhuan ancestors and world-level Xuanhuan lifeforms of the Southern River Territory into terror. How could they possibly defy 8 lords? The Xuanhuan ancestors of the territory immediately reported to the 9 sovereigns while also preparing for migration. As demanded by the 8 lords, they had to begin moving within a day. They had been rooted in this land for too long, and such a sudden migration was no easy task. Many long-established mines had to be abandoned, and their scattered offspring could only be gathered as quickly as possible. Some distant offspring, if they were world-level Xuanhuan lifeforms, could still travel on their own to join their clans. As for the high-level Xuanhuan lifeforms, they moved too slowly to make it in time. 8 lords stood in the void, their overwhelming power radiating in all directions. Suddenly, clones descended, one after another. They were the clones of the 9 sovereigns of the innate Xuanhuan lifeform faction. The 9 sovereigns' clones had gathered. Yuan, what are you practitioners planning? The infinite serpent Xuanhuan ancestor roared angrily. The Southern River Territory is part of our innate Xuanhuan territory. Do you think you can just seize it? Ha ha. Yuan burst into laughter. Your innate Xuanhuan lifeform faction invaded our practitioner territory, slaughtering indiscriminately and devouring origin worlds. And you dare to ask if we can seize your territory? Yuan, you've gone too far. The giant god emperor growled. The Southern River Territory comprises 1,600 world clusters. You dare to simply seize it? We have over 100 Xuanhuan ancestors, while you have only 8 lords, the Wujin Xuanhuan ancestor added. Your resource needs are minimal. Shouldn't 3,600 world clusters be more than enough? Who said lords don't need resources? Lord Wulan scoffed. So, according to you, you should occupy 50% of the territory, while the practitioner faction gets a mere 10%. Lord Negu sneered. It seems we'll have to settle this through combat, the Nirvana Xuanhuan ancestor said coldly. This Southern River Territory is merely the beginning. Luo Feng declared coldly, in the infinite Hunyuan space, even controlling 20% of the territory is insufficient for the practitioner faction's strength and potential. Merely the beginning. You intend to conquer more. The 9 sovereigns were both shocked and enraged. Stop talking nonsense, you bunch of clones, Lord Xingmang said with a wave of his hand, instantly annihilating the 9 sovereigns' clones. Even as it dissolved, the clones couldn't believe how audacious the practitioner lords had become. We'll have to fight eventually, Yuan murmured softly. According to the original plan, the practitioner faction aimed to establish absolute control over 20% of the territory and dominate all origin worlds within the remaining 80%. Such a goal couldn't be achieved through mere words. A battle was inevitable. The practitioner faction's negotiation partners weren't limited to the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction alone, there were also the I-Speak faction and numerous smaller factions. They coveted all origin worlds within every faction's territory. We must demonstrate sufficient strength to advance our next phase, Lord Xingmang said. Gaining unanimous agreement from all factions would be no easy feat. Haha, let's have a proper fight. Lord Wu Lan's eyes burned with fervor. They've bullied us for too long. Lord Jin said. His Hunyuan Destruction Dao differed greatly from Luo Feng's Hunyuan Blade Dao. Luo Feng's Hunyuan Blade Dao consisted of 87% destruction and 13% life. The mysteries of life included concepts like life qi, severing life force, and life entanglement. The destructive aspect focused on pursuing sheer power as its core. Lord Jin's Hunyuan Destruction Dao differed significantly from Luo Feng's in both its destructive and life-related aspects, naturally resulting in a distinct Dao. Even when pursuing similar Daos, different lords would ultimately master them in unique ways. The innate Hunyuan lifeform faction also senses our threat, Lord Xingmang said, having already foreseen part of the future. Their battle formations will prioritize self-preservation over killing, making them even more formidable. Luo Feng and the others already knew this. Among the Hunyuan ancestors were those skilled in life, defense, domain, immortality, and world powers. Once these Hunyuan ancestors were used as the core to construct a defensive system, their battle formation self-preservation capabilities would significantly improve. In the past, when facing us, they relied solely on their overwhelming numerical superiority, completely disregarding defensive formations and focusing solely on relentless attacks, Lord Momen said with a smile. This forced us to fight cautiously, pouring all our efforts into defense. Even then, we suffered repeated defeats, and world clusters fell one after another. Fortunately, the lords were immortal. Even when a world cluster fell, they could swiftly recover, regroup, and return to battle. Even back then, when they disdained defensive formations, killing a single Hunyuan ancestor was no easy feat, Lord Jin remarked. Things are different now, Yuan said. All the lords turned to Luo Feng. Luo Feng, it's up to you, Lord Mingwang said with a smile. During their sparring matches, they had all witnessed the terrifying power of that blade. Nothing remained uncut, no defense remained unbroken. Luo Feng's power transcends their comprehension. They can't foresee his future. This time, he'll give them some surprises, Lord Xingmang said. What he didn't mention was that even he couldn't directly perceive Luo Feng's future. He could only indirectly deduce information from Luo Feng's influence on countless future timelines. This time, we must not only intimidate the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction, but all other factions as well, Luo Feng agreed. In this battle, he would fully cooperate with the formation and unleash his full strength. Within the Southern River Territory, a world-level Hunyuan lifeform was in flight, rapidly gathering numerous high-level Hunyuan lifeforms. Its body naturally generated countless worlds on its surface, providing temporary shelter for the gathered lifeforms. I've only managed to gather 70% of my high-level Hunyuan offspring. There's no time left, the world-level Hunyuan lifeform thought. Abandoning further efforts, I must rendezvous with the Hunyuan ancestors. If we're late and fail to leave the territory within the allotted time, Lord Luo Feng might slice us down from afar. The world-level Hunyuan lifeform immediately tore open a spatial temporal rift to hasten its journey. Hurry, hurry. We must rendezvous. We have only 20 days to leave the Southern River Territory. Innate Hunyuan clans near the territory's borders still had some time, but those in the core regions were panicking, their time was running out. They had to prioritize travel time, then use any remaining moments to gather resources and consolidate their offspring. Hunyuan ancestors, can't we resist the practitioner faction? Are we just going to flee like this? Many world-level Hunyuan lifeforms were deeply reluctant. They were the foremost faction. To be frightened away like this. Wouldn't the Hunyuan ancestors resist? Rest assured. The 9 sovereigns will lead numerous Hunyuan ancestors into battle. We'll temporarily retreat. Once victory is secured, we'll return, the Hunyuan ancestors reassured them. The innate Hunyuan lifeform faction was indeed mobilizing, with all 9 sovereigns joining the battle. A vast number of Hunyuan ancestors' true forms were also participating. 89 Hunyuan ancestors in total. This is the most perfect battle formation we've achieved after countless trials. Assembling these Hunyuan ancestors' true forms alone took over 10 days. Their forms varied wildly, some resembled beasts, others celestial bodies like stars and clouds, some natural features like flowing water or towering mountains, and some humanoid. This practitioner faction is outrageously bold, daring to invade our territory. The infinite serpent Hunyuan ancestor roared furiously. In the past, it had always been the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction that bullied the practitioner faction. But now the tables had turned. The 8 lords had not only occupied territory but were attempting to seize a tenth of the infinite Hunyuan space in a single move. Though the Southern River territory comprised only 1,600 world clusters, in the eyes of the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction, its value rivaled that of the practitioner territory. After all, it was rich in other resources. Such a vast territory being occupied outright. Even the anti-war faction couldn't tolerate this. Those 8 lords claim that occupying the Southern River territory is just the beginning. They're still not satisfied. The giant god emperor roared angrily. This battle will make them understand that we are the true masters of power, the Xuanhuan Hunyuan ancestor added, equally furious. This battle would also serve as a demonstration of power for the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction. It was their chance to prove to all factions in the infinite Hunyuan space that, even in this vast expanse, they remained the supreme power. Let's move out. Led by the infinite serpent Hunyuan ancestor, the Wujin Hunyuan ancestor, the Nirvana Hunyuan ancestor, the Yuanwo Hunyuan ancestor, the Chushi Hunyuan ancestor, the Hunyuan ancestor of space-time, the giant god emperor, the black tide Hunyuan ancestor, and the Hunyuan beast ancestor, these 9 supreme beings commanded 80 specially selected Hunyuan ancestors, forming an immense battle formation. Boom. Under the leadership of Hunyuan ancestor of time and space, the grand army marched forth in majestic procession toward the territory of the 8 lords. At that moment, all factions across the infinite Hunyuan space watched from afar. They're coming. The 8 lords also awaited this moment with anticipation. This battle was crucial for their own plan to establish dominance. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.